Now, as we talk about these energy lines, as you mentioned the name of these organs like the lung and the heart and the spleen and the gallbladder, all that, it's very easy for us to try to associate that with the Western medicine term, right? So we say, well, the kidney is here, so why are you working over there? The lung is over here, why are you really have to kind of liberate yourself from the Western idea of any. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying that one is 150 years old and one is 4,500 years old. It's you're limiting yourself by, you know, really drawing the parallel. You just have to. There are two things you need to know. This is important. One is that the Chinese culture does not allow cutting up the body. It doesn't allow that. The culture does not allow that. When a person dies, it's considered utmost disrespect to actually cut up the body. So dissection of the cadaver is not allowed in the Chinese culture. So the 4,000, 5,000-year-old culture learning about health is through meditation, is through study of a live body. Okay, so the idea that we find these energy lines and then we named it after organ, it's an abstraction. It's not because we found something in your body and then we trace it back. It's an abstraction, okay? It's only in the last 150 years that we try to draw the two together, naming parallel, drawing the parallel between the Western and the Eastern. But it actually is counterproductive. It's actually counterproductive. Just think of this as energy lines in your body. No different than you think of the tide on the planet Earth, right? You know that the tide is influenced by the sun, it's influenced by the moon, but it's also influenced by the Jupiter, the Mars, the Saturn, the Venus, and the Mercury, right? In the absence of the sun, it's influenced by all these planets. And we don't really know how the tide works in the planet. We don't actually know what, if there's any underground channel of the water coming up. It's not just the water on the surface of the moon. It's the same way. The planet Earth is 65-70% water. The body is 65-75% water. As the sun goes from daytime to nighttime, as its influence winds down, the influence of the planet comes up, and then now energy flows in the body. And it's through deep meditation that Chinese over 44,000 years discover this energy line, and then they just name it after this organ because there's some association, all right? Amy just said that her uncle passed away last night, and we feel a lot of grief. And how do we deal with that grief? We don't make the grief go away. It's not possible to make it go away. We have to accept it. But what it helps to bring out the best in you, which is your compassion, your kindness, loving kindness, your empathy, and your equanimity. It helps. It helps to bring out the best in you, to soothe the grief. So for that, I'd like to take a break. I want to chant the Metta. Metta means loving kindness. The story of the Metta chanting is that one time a bunch of monks went to the historical Buddha to learn meditation. The Buddha took time to teach the monks. The monks were happy. They went back to the forest. Each one of them takes one tree, and they decided that they would spend the next 2 weeks practicing what the Buddha had taught them. What happened is that it's an old growth forest, so there was a lot of spirit that already lived in the forest. And when the monks start chanting, it creates a lot of anxiety in the spirit, and the spirit decided to leave temporarily. Except that the monks just decided to stay there. They were just having such a good time, and it just causes a lot of pain for the spirits. So eventually the spirit decided to come back and cause all kinds of problems for the monks. So the monks went to the historical Buddha and explained to him, and the Buddha says, well, you were so focused on your own practice about your own spiritual gain that you forgot that there are other beings. So it's the same way that I understand that it causes a lot of grief in you, But the best way to deal with that grief is to turn it around and bring out the best in you to share that with other living beings, other living beings. Okay? Share that loving kindness, the what you feel with your uncle, just share that with other beings. Feel, share the compassion, share the loving kindness and empathy. So for that, I like for all of us to put our hands together. This is a mudra. This is a mudra that represents our humbleness, our respect, and our gratitude. So you start with gratitude, that you're grateful for the time that you had with your uncle and your loved ones. You're grateful for your own health. You're grateful for the time that we have here. And you bring that out and you say, may all beings be free from animosity and negative energy. This includes your uncle. May all beings be free from mental suffering. May all beings be free from physical suffering, which your uncle already has done. May all beings be full of joy, even in the underworld, protected with positive energy. Now the chanting that I'm about to do is in Pali, the original language of the Buddha, and was taught to me by a monk. And so think of this as a chanting directly from Buddha himself. Be blessed. Sabbe sata avayantu. Sabbe sata ayabayantu. Sabbe sata nagayantu. Sabbe sata sukhi atano parihara. We shall dedicate today's positive energy to Amy's uncle, and may he be free from all animosity and negative energy. May he be free from all mental suffering. May he be full of joy and protected with positive energy.